Hello, welcome to the next episode. This episode is about the Welsh rock band and the Manic Street Preachers. Got 34 CDs to run with you through today. For a band that have had 15 albums and various singles and releases. They started in a place called Blackwood, which is in South Wales. They consisted of their first lineup was James Dean Bradfield, rhythm guitar and vocals, Sean Moore drums, Nicky Wire bass guitar, and Richie Edwards second guitar main lyricist. This was until 1995 when Richie Edwards disappeared. He's not been seen since, but his rumours are he jumped off a bridge in sort of the Severn Bridge, but there's been no evidence of him being there's lots of conspiracy theories, but in the band, James Dean Bradfield and Sean Moore are cousins, and Nicky and Richie went to university together in Swansea, and Nicky Wire has a degree in politics, but he couldn't make the graduation due to touring commitments, he said. So we'll start off with the albums first on CD. Now, the first album they released was an album called Generation Terrorists, and if I remember correctly, yes, it was released in 1992. The sticker fell off. I've had this one since, so I bought it on the day release. This album's got 18 songs on it, and with this album, they said they were going to sell 16 million copies with one album, and disappeared. One of the songs they always play live now, they start off with, is Motorcycle Emptiness. They released a single called You Love Us, Little Baby Nothing, and Stay Beautiful were the singles they released it. But I would say, and they released Slash and Burn as well. My favourites have always been Nat West, Barclays Midlands Lloyds, Repeat. I always like Stay Beautiful, that's my favourite single. Another Invented Disease. This album is the UK's answer to like James Dean Bradfield was a very big Guns N' Roses fan, believe it or not, and there's lots of great guitar work on him, and he's a phenomenal guitar player. He did very well with this album. I've seen them once this year already at the Royal Albert Hall in London. I've seen them 17 times so far, and they did a brilliant version of Condemned to Rock and Roll, which finishes the album. But this album is a great debut album, but it didn't sell 16 million copies, unfortunately. Then they went away, and next album, well, the 1990s could be unkind to you. If you wanted to be seen as a 90s type band. At the time, this album was seen as very much as second album Syndrome, when it was recorded in very expensive studio in Oxford, called the Manor, I do believe, and it's Gold Against the Soul. The opening track, Sleep Flower, is a fan's favourite. My favourite Manic Street Preacher song is on this album. It says Las Tristeza de Aurora, Scream to a Sigh, in brackets. And they also released From Despair to Where from this one. Over the years, this album's got more credit. Well, it deserves more credit than it had. And it deserves more credit than it had. And like songs like Yourself and Druggy and Roses in the Hospital. Now, ones that they play from this one is Roses in the Hospital. They played that at the Albert Hall. This year is a great one, but is it better than Generation Terrorist? No. Is it better than the Holy Bible? No. But it's a very good album either way, and it's got my favourite song on it. Now for the next album they released in 1995. I don't know if I should cover this bit up. Sorry, but it's got the Holy Bible. The lyrics to this were written all by Richie mainly, and it was his last album. It's a very different album for the time, because it's got songs like Archives of Pain, which deals with serial killers, and it's got a song called Of Walking Abortions on it. He was admitted to hospital in the Priory for being anorexic, that he didn't eat that much. And there's a song about this time at the hospital, which they called 4 stones, 7 pounds. They had a song on this song called Faster, which was the last song him and Nicky Ryle wrote together. It was very. Everyone knows the song, but it's got George Orwell's film 1984. There's a bit from the beginning of the film, the beginning of the song, which has a scene in it. It's like, I hate purity, sort of like that line is like, I didn't want you to exist there anyway. But yeah, it's like this album's a very dark album, and there's a song, the closing song, PCP is a pretty punky sort of song, and the intense Humming of Evil, which they played live at the London Roundhouse as part of the 20th anniversary of this album. This is like fans' favourites before they got famous. Well, they were sort of famous here, but this is like considered as a sort of for fans' favourites. I would say it's probably mine. One of mine. So I've got 2 versions of this album because they released the 10-year anniversary of it all, and you got like the album remastered. You got 18 demos and Radio 1 sessions, and you got a DVD which has got them on sort of like Top of the Pops with Faster and Glastonbury Festival and so forth, and it's got like a booklet in it, and it's quite cheap at the time. I mean, I don't think it's going to let you show any him, but basically this is what it is. It's like a 3 CD box set. It's very well done, so I thought. I haven't got the I haven't got the 20th box set, big box set yet. I do plan to get it. So Richie Edwards leaves. They don't know what to do, so they are deciding what to do with them. So and whether to continue or not, and they do continue, and this is the first song they released. It became a bit of a hit for the country. It's called "A Design for Life." This is the one that I bought on release day. It became one of their most successful songs today. It got to number 2 in the UK charts, and they released the album "Everything Must Go." "Everything Must Go" was the 4th album that they released, and it has one Richie song written, one or two Richie songs still around, I think. The singer Kevin Carter, I do believe, was Richie lyrics. I could be wrong there, and I believe he wrote "Small Black Flowers That Grow in the Sky." But this is the Manic Street Preachers going to the mainstream, and "Everything Must Go," "The Girl That Wants to Be God," and another singer, Australia, which I have here. They still play "No Surface, All Feelings" from this album, and they sometimes play "Further Away." And at the Royal Albert Hall in 2016, they played this album in full, and I was at that gig. I was at the top of, naturally. I don't managed to get standing tickets from that one, and I've got 2 copies of this one. They released another version of it, this one here, and on the back they did a DVD called "Everything Live," and this is of the GMX in Manchester. So this is like the CD of it. So I always like watching the DVD or the video when it came out. So I bought this for the CD. So moving on to their most successful album. This is "My Truth, Tell Me Yours" in 1999. This sees them going in an even more mainstream, commercial sort of like line as the last album. It has their #1 hit single, "If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next." It's the single "You Stole the Song From My Heart," and the single "Tsunami." But I've always liked "Ready for Drowning," "Nobody Loved You," and "My Little Empire," which they played live. And in 2019, they played it in the Shepherd's Bush Empire, which I went to, minus "Nobody Loved You." So fast forward to 2001, I've got 2 copies of this CD, then we'll get on to the next stack. I suppose I've best. They released an album called "Know Your Enemy." Know Your Enemy here. This album came out in 2001, and it had quite a lot of songs. It had 17 songs on it. They intended it for it to be a double album, but because of the length of the time, they didn't have much time. They gave up on it in the end, so they just released the single albums. But they released 2 singles in one go. They released So Why So Sad, and they released Found That Soul. I've got those singles. James Dean Bradfield's mother passed away, so he wrote a song dedicated to her called Ocean Spray. They released Let Robeson Sing as well. And Nicky Wire has a song on this album called Wattsville Blues, where he used to live. The conveyor list was always good, and Royal Correspondent is good. And the Year of Communication has always, and plus Intravenous Agnostic has always been my favourites. I've always gone back to this album, so it's like it's a very good album. And for some reason, I bought 2 copies when it came out, probably for the promotional sticker. But in 2021, let's get the next stat. 2021, they released triple box set CD called how they originally wanted to record it. It's got like Doors to the River. That was the first CD, and it had like the Year of Communication started the album. Ocean Spray, So Why So Bad, now these are the songs that you didn't get: Door to the River, Rosebud, Just a Kid, His Last Paintings. And the second CD starts with Intravenous. It's called Solidarity. So they wanted to make it called Door to the River, and CD2 wanted to be Solidarity, which is where they had Intravenous Agnostic, Found That Soul, We Are All Burgeries Now, Freedom of Speech, Won't Feed My Children, The Conversation List, Baby Eileen, Masses Against the Classes, which was they had as another one single, which sounded different actually. My Guernica, and the ones they didn't have on it was Fear of Motion, Pedestal, Don't Let My Lord Deliver, Daniel, Locust Valley, Masking Tape, and Ballad of the Bangkok Hotel. Right, so it comes with like a booklet of things. It comes with like great pieces of interview, things like that, and it was worth getting at the time. It was like a great live picture of James. So this is well worth getting if you want the CD. So next up is a very controversial album for them. Now I haven't got the book of this yet because the CD is not for me. They released Lifeblood in 2004. It's a good album. It's got like Empty Souls, A Song for Departure, To Repair Ghosts. I mean, it is pretty bland as a Manic Street Preachers album. It doesn't really sort of go anywhere, but you can just put it on. It was us, Lifeblood there. And then they went even more in that direction in 2007. They released Send Away the Tigers. What I didn't know is this is the first tour that I saw them on. I know Underdog's Autumn Song is good. I'm Just a Pasty, and I remember them playing Body Bags at the time, and Send Away the Tigers. 2004. Then they thought to themselves, what can we do for the next album? And they found, as all musicians do find, they found a journal of Richie's lyrics that they haven't used, and they realised they've been a bit too mid, so they wanted to rev it up. So they came back, not too sure, an album called Journal for Plague Lovers. Now this is all Richie Edwards' words. So it starts off with peeled apples. That's good when they play it live now. I saw them play that on that tour. The jokes severed, sport severed. Me and Stephen Hawking. She bathed herself in a bath of beach. Facing Page. All is vanity, that's another good one. Virginia State Epileptic Comedy. And the song William's Last Words. I'm not too sure if you can show these. Most people already know the front cover. But Journal for Plague Lovers is Richie's final sort of work. But also, the Journal for Plague Lovers, they did like a limited edition 2 CD book, which I'm not too sure you can still. It's got like the demos as the second CD, and again with this one, it's got like interviews and stuff and lyrics. It became like a format of how they did it. But yeah, I can find out. It's just like you get this sort of thing. That sort of thing. And then in 2010, they came back. I think this is my least favourite, I'll have to say, out of all them postcards from a young man. Apart from Hazeltown Avenue, Golden Platitudes, the album just doesn't really do a whole lot for me, so I'm sorry. I don't really put it on a great deal. Yes. You got another same deal here. I mean, this is like the limited edition. This is all Nicky's words. You can see that sort of thing. So they're well getting it if you like these sort of things. But yeah, it's not my favourite. And as the years go on, they make even more mid albums, really, if you were to call them that. They made 2 albums in quick succession for the next time. Rerun the film in 2013. I'm not keen on the single Show Me the Wonder, I have to admit, but I do like Anthems for a Lost Cause, Ways to Disappear, 3 Ways to Disappear, Builders of Routines. But it's not an album that goes on the player that often, really. And also, they had another one of these book things to go with it. You got just the album and the demo. Stuff like that. This is very Nicky's having a go with his computer, really, with the art there. Now, the next album, I'll put these down, was a significant improval movement with Futurology, where I saw them at the Brixton Academy. Love We Go to the Bridge, Let Them Go to War, Europa, Black Square, Sex, Power, Love and Money. This is a good, solid album. It's more upbeat, it's more rocky, it's more bouncy, and it's more the Manics doing what Manics do. And they played Futurology at the Royal Albert Hall this year. So what did they do after that? Well, we're on now, 2018. They're very into their branding the band out now, and this is where the album started to go on the up again for me. They released Resistance is Futile. On the website, you could pre-order a signed copy. I've met them since in person, and I've got their autographs on their new book, which I might show at the end. But yeah, this album is very strong. It's got People Give In, International Blue. That's like when you hear the guitar line, you think, I've heard that before. Is that Motorcycle Emptiness, or is it something? It's like they've got Distant Colours. A Vivian, who was supposed to be the rumoured girlfriend of Richie Evans before he disappeared. Forgotten Wars. The only one I don't really like is Hold Me Like a Heaven. I sometimes skip that one. But Secrets of Forgotten Wars, that's James Dean Bradfield doing what James Dean Bradfield does at his very best. Well, sort of. And another one, Broken Net Algorithms, and like James Dean Bradfield's writing on this album is coming to his fore, and he's man's a genius, basically. And A Song for the Sadness and The Left Behind. The artwork in this album is more sort of sayings, really. That sounds must be somewhere in Wales. And they wrote their second song about Liverpool Revisited. And there's Nicky Wire looking very cool there. He has to be the coolest member of the band, surely. And you get the demos, so yeah. And then the second to last album, they actually got to number one with this one, and they beat the Stranglers to number one spot with the Ultra Vivid Lament. I think you can put Resistance is Futile and these next few albums on together, really. It's like this. Still Snowing in Sapporo is obviously James Dean Bradfield at his best. Orwellian is the single they released, which you bought the vinyl, which I did. You got a free single. The Secret He Had Missed. Which one's the Complicated Illusions? Blank Diary Entry. Happy Bored Alone, and Afterlife. It's very sort of like just standalone rock. It's not even rock, really. It's just I mean, if you want, this is Orwellian kind of rocky, but it's something to have on in the background. I'm not in a bad way. And they finished it off with their latest album, Critical Thinking. Now this starts off with Critical Thinking, sung by Nicky Wire, the vocalist. But yes, it's a decent listen. I mean, they had the singles Decline and Fall, which doesn't sound sort of good for the future, but it's like if you've got to sing Decline and Fall. Brush Strokes of a Reunion. Again, Nicky Wire is in vocals for Hiding in Plain Sight. and People Ring Paintings. My favourite on this one is possibly, I do like the title track, Critical Thinking, because Nicky Wire does sound really teased up in that one. And I like Decline and Fall, People Running Paintings, and One Man Miniature, also sung by Nicky Wire. He gets a few songs on this album. But I think the best one that James sings is People Running Paintings. Now on to the bonus bits. They did an album called, this is like a greatest hits compilation called National Treasures. It's got 19 songs on it. It's just like all from their hit singles. Damaged Goods put out a reissue of New Art Riot, which I decided to get. It's just got New Art Riot, Step It Down, Last Exit on Yesterday, and Teenage 2020, and it was only for £4, so I thought I got it. I got Slash and Burn on the CD single. I got Arthur on the CD single. I pick these up when I get them. I mean, there's loads of them. I got Australia, CD1, CD single. If you tolerate this, your children will be next. CD single. I had bought that on release day. I got The Everlasting on CD single. I got both CDs. I've got their number one standalone single, The Masses Against the Classes. I've got, what's this one's this? Found That Soul. There's Why So Sad. And Ocean Spray. That's the CD collection. Done. I can finish off with this is my book, 168 songs. I went to the Earth Theatre back in last September, and I met them and had a good Nicky Wire, James Dean Bradfield, and Keith Cameron signed it for me. If I was to do my top 3 Manic Preacher songs, it would be Lust, Tristessa, The Aurora. Then it would be, I haven't thought about it, probably Faster. And then it would be Of Walking Abortion. I think those would be the top 3. Okay, well that's the next one, apart from the slip up with the video, but that will go down. The video on this will be for the Manic Street Preachers, I suppose. I thought I'd do this in order of importance of artists, so they are the third biggest band. Me, so, and that's it. Well, see you tomorrow for another one. Right.